Anastasia.
Alright. So explain to us hello and goodbye in Japanese.
Hello is really confusing. Konnichiwa is kind of hello. It's not really just like, hey, hello. Because you wouldn't be like, hey, hello. It's more like if you were like, good evening. Like, you don't know them. And I don't feel like you would tell your friend that the same way.
You wouldn't tell them konnichiwa?
Exactly.
They don't really have a word for hello at all. Not even
What do
exactly.
they say then?
They like, Andrew-san. In the day, people might say it, but it's just not what people use as hi. It's not.
So
They don't just say hello. It's not the same. Konnichiwa can be used, and no Japanese person would be offended by it, and they do use it in just like, Konnichiwa. Today we are going to be looking at tourist resort type things. If you're just like, how are you today? Oh, good morning. It doesn't really mean hi, but they get what you mean, and it wouldn't be weird because they wouldn't be like, I don't know what good evening means. Okay, matane is goodbye, but that's only like with friends and different things. And you wouldn't tell you mom matane, you'd say itekimasu because it means like I will come back. Because you're just saying I'm like leaving the house. Sayonara is the most misconception. If you say sayonara to somebody, they will literally be like, oh, okay, so like, where are you going? Like, I'm never gonna see you again, you're breaking up with me? It literally is more like farewell, forever. That's why I like watching anime in Japanese, because sometimes they'll just be like, goodbye, and you're like, and if you watch it in Japanese, they'll be like, sayonara, and you just get it. You get it more. Why you're like, oh shit, if you hear sayonara, it's not good. I like translations where they leave those type of things because it is its own thing, and even Americans kind of get that. So you can't say sayonara to say bye, even though everyone's like sayonara. Like, I mean, obviously, like, it's just such a ridiculous thing. We don't have so many words that if you say to other people, you have to switch them. If you're talking to your mom, you have to have a different word to say goodbye than if you're talking to this and if you're talking to that person. But it's not like they're super different. It's just that they're literal meanings kind of.
Okay.
And goodbye there's so much goodbye. Like they have jane, matane, matashita, which is like see you tomorrow, but it means like bye, because that's what you could use in place of matane. So those are probably the most little good translations for goodbye, but the thing is with your parents, you don't use those. You will use itekimasu.
Day to day.
Probably ja matane or jane, but that does just kind of mean bye. I don't know. It's like it's not. They also have byebye though. Byebye though is more kiddish, so like you wouldn't use that to a friend because it's like baby talk. Like in kindergarten, that's how they'll be like bye bye, and they don't use that once you're older with people. And if you did, it would just be like really, really strange. Kind of when I loved anime type stuff, and like I was interested in Japan, but not until I saw a video on their language did I say, wow, it's almost more simple but complicated, so it's really interesting to learn and like fun to learn. So then I was like, it's also something that's really different than English, like really different than English, that it's almost an interesting language to learn because of that.
And would you say it's a fun language to learn?
Yeah, super fun.